Hey everybody, it's John Pollock and this is Fight News Now, the MMA edition. Hello Fight fans and welcome to Fight News Now, where we have a packed 30 minutes of news coming at you in rapid form as we get set for a great UFC on Fox 7 card that is coming up this Saturday night in San Jose, California. On the program today, we've got exclusive comments with the likes of Anthony Pettis, Rory McDonald, David Loiseau, and comments from former Lloyd Irvin student Ryan Hall that you will not want to miss. Of course, John Ramdine and Robin Black are ready to go for another 3 rounds, and DC Comic fans, stay tuned for this week's edition of The Shift. So from early stoppages to neck injuries, UFC comebacks, and Ben & Jerry's banned from the Tough House, it's all covered in this week's Newsmakers. The UFC will present their 7th card on the Fox network this Saturday night from the HP Pavilion in San Jose, California. The former home of Strikeforce will see a number of former stars make their Octagon debuts, including the final Strikeforce lightweight champion Gilbert Melendez, as El Nino gets set to challenge UFC lightweight king Benson Henderson for the distinction of undisputed champion.
When Benson Henderson made his professional mixed martial arts debut, Gilbert Melendez was already the Strikeforce lightweight champion.
My goal is to be the best, so I got to beat the best, whoever they are, bring them.
Since that fight, El Nino has been at or near the top of the lightweight rankings, but the fact that he hasn't fought in the UFC has always left doubters wondering about his true standing in the division.
Gilbert, you're the Barry Sanders of MMA. You know, he always shined, he was just always on a wrong team.
The Cesar Gracie product did everything he could have in Strikeforce to keep his name at the top of the standings. He holds promotional records for most wins, title defenses, as well as championship bouts.
Gil's, he's pretty good. He's pretty skilled. I don't know if you guys know that or not.
When the San Jose-based organization closed their doors this past January, Melendez finally got the shot he's been waiting for so long.
Gilbert Melendez is the one who deserves the title shot. I mean, Eddie Alvarez, I like him. He's not even ranked in the top 10. You know, Gilbert Melendez is the man.
Henderson comes into this bout riding a 6-fight win streak, having defended his title twice. In his most recent title defense, he dominated Melendez's teammate Nathan Diaz over 5 rounds to solidify his spot as the world's #1 155-pound fighter.
You want to whoop the dude's ass, you know what I mean? You want to beat him up, you want to avenge your team, you want to avenge your homie, and you know. But much respect for the guy. It's nothing personal, but you know, you want a piece of it.
Melendez has an aggressive brawling stand-up style and an equally brutal top game.
Gil has heavy hands, good wrestler, does takedown defense very well, takes guys down, stays on top, doesn't do a whole lot of jiu-jitsu, more just ground and pound when he's on top.
Smooth and Bendo are perfect nicknames for the MMA lab fighter, who uses his flexibility and athleticism to fight off takedowns while wearing down his opponents with his slick stand-up and submission skills.
He's an impressive guy, but I think I match up very well with him, and I think I can beat him.
In a bout featuring 2 champions, who will win? The flag bearer for the UFC, or will it be the invader from Strikeforce?
Henderson is listed at the time of this recording as a -300 favorite on some books, as Melendez will also be coming off a notable shoulder injury that has kept him inactive since May of last year. We spoke to 2 of Henderson's previous opponents in Anthony Pettis and Mark Bocek, as well as the Canadian talent Adrian Woolley, for their breakdown of this lightweight collision.
I mean, Henderson's right now the best 155er in the world.
Melendez is a bit of an exception. He's very dangerous in every area.
I don't think he can hold a candle, honestly, to Ben Henderson.
I don't think he'll face, the competition that he's going to be facing, against Henderson.
He was the Strikeforce champ, so I understand the logic of him getting the shot.
We were putting them shoes, when WC merged. These guys are, inferior to us UFC guys. We've been fighting, the best of the best, and you look at the top. I mean, me, Henderson, and Cowboys not too far off. I mean, the WC guys, made a big name for themselves quick.
I don't think that Gilbert Melendez brings anything to the table as far as being a Strikeforce champ and coming from Cesar Gracie's camp, where a lot of their jiu-jitsu and slap-style boxing is their strengths.
I'm thinking Henderson, super well-rounded, very big for the weight class, and gets stronger and stronger every round, so I'm thinking Henderson decision.
I mean, he's athletic, he's big for his weight. He has all the tools. He's a wrestler. He got decent striking, good submission defense. You put that all together, it's a hard person to beat.
As Gilbert Melendez bounces back from a shoulder injury, Rory McDonald is hoping to put his neck issues behind him after being forced to pull out of his UFC 158 rematch with Carlos Condit, but he will be returning to the Octagon July 27th against Jake Ellenberger. Our crew recently spoke to McDonald and trainer Firas Zahabi on the recovery process.
It's a pain in the ass, but I'm working through it, and I'm happy to be back doing martial arts again, training. So,
you know, he's young, so he's still maturing as a fighter. You know, look at Johnny Hendricks, look at Ellenberger, you look at George. You know, they're all coming close to 30 or over 30 already. So these guys are really peaking right now. Rory's still far from peak, so that's the scary thought to me because he's so good right now. Imagine 3-4 years from now, it's going to be dangerous. You know, I don't have many guys to spar with him right now, so I'm going to have to start importing guys for him in the future, I'm pretty sure. At the end of the day, when he hits his peak, I think he's going to just go through a very long winning streak, that, like George St. Pierre.
UFC 58 was a landmark show for Canadians and teammates David Loiseau and George St. Pierre, who were part of the 2 co-featured bouts of that evening. Since that card in March of 2006, St. Pierre has become one of the most dominant fighters of all time, while Loiseau left the cage unsuccessful that night and a 7-5 record since. At 33 years of age, the Crow tells us that his motivation remains and still hopes for one last big run.
I know I'm good. You know, I just need to go out there and prove it. The goal is to go back to the UFC. You know, and I don't know who the top 3 guys are, but I could rumble with these guys, no problem. To all the promoters out there looking for fights.
Last week, tickets went on sale for the UFC's debut in Winnipeg, set for June the 15th, with UFC 161 headlined by interim bantamweight champion Renan Barão taking on #1 contender Eddie Wineland, both of whom were on hand for last week's press conference, and Wineland is confident in surprising a number of people this coming June.
We're training just like we normally train, a little more grappling, we're going to push a little harder. Obviously, it's a 25-minute fight. Not that I intended to go 25 minutes, but for 25 minutes, we'll be ready for it. I think I'm stronger. I think I'm faster. I think I hit harder. I think I'm a better wrestler. You know, on June 15th, we're going to find out who has the advantage. I don't think I'm going to have any problem pulling the trigger. You know, you watch the Jorgens fight, you watch the Pickett fight, I didn't have any problem letting my hands go, and this is going to be no different. You know, go in there and make it ugly, get in his face, and just kind of be the bully.
Earlier this year, a number of allegations surfaced regarding longtime trainer and coach Lloyd Irvin and suspected sexual transgressions within the academy, and leading to a number of fighters associated with Team Lloyd Irvin leaving. One of those to leave is noted grappler Ryan Hall, who was in Montreal recently for the Paradise Warrior retreat and spoke to Fight Network regarding what went on and the culture within the team.
Cult-like, honestly, I think applies. There's a messianic, at least in his own mind, figure sitting at the top of it who obviously shows no remorse and no human emotion for almost anything. Everything about it is in character, unfortunately. There's a complete and utter lack of respect for other people involved, which is just f***ing disgusting, to be frank, and also very silly, like, oh, I'm a black belt. How does that give me any power over you? When people start to enscone themselves in this little world where they're the king and everyone needs to come to them and supplicate themselves or prostrate themselves before them, it's just unhealthy. You can only have that level of control over other lives for so long before it starts to do bad things to you, I think.
Other fighters that have left the team include Dominic Cruz as well as Brandon Vera. We move back to the Tough 17 finale from this past Saturday and hear from Miesha Tate, who was stopped in the 3rd round by Kat Zingano following a series of knees to the face as well as an elbow strike. Tate was very vocal about her disagreement with referee Kim Winslow stopping the fight when she did.
I'm pissed, to say the least. You know what I mean? I'm definitely not happy. And, I mean, I still feel like I was in the fight. I don't, for 1 second, feel like, you know, that it should have been stopped. I don't know what you want. You know, I sat up, I shot a double, I got back to my feet. I took some damage because of that, because I was trying to listen to the referee. Stop the fight.
I don't feel like whatever we're talking about is what won me the fight. You know, I think that I won. I think I went and I kneed her. I think that her face shows it. You know, I think no doubt in my mind that was my fight. I came back and I finished strong, and I don't have any excuses.
With the victory, Kat Zingano not only earns the next bantamweight title shot, but also gets to coach opposite champion Ronda Rousey on the next season of Tough, which will feature both male and female bantamweights on the show. When asked about the environment she expects inside of the house, Rousey would only speak regarding what she expects of her team and the pressure the team will be under.
I'm expecting them to hold themselves as professionals. I would expect them to be eating as professionals and behaving as such. You know, they're not going to be eating Ben & Jerry's, they're not going to be chugging down, you know, a bunch of Jack, and if they are, then I did a very poor job picking my team. She seems like a cool chick, but I don't really know her for the hole in the wall. I mean, we haven't really sat down and made s'mores yet, but who knows, we might in the Tough House. Stay tuned.
So there you go, John. No drinking in the house, no sex in the house. Ronda Rousey seems like the most boring coach of all time.
Yeah, but I mean, this is what has to be done, right? Of course, she's trying to avoid any type of conflict and any type of problems, but the fact is we know that stuff like that's going to happen.
Think of the potential reality series spin-offs that could come out of this. Cage fighting and pregnant.
Yeah.
This could be excellent. What's coming up on 3 trimesters? 3 rounds.
It's all about UFC on Fox 7. Robin and I break down some of the best fights of the year, and we'll tell you who will gain the most with a victory in San Jose.
All right, no drinking and no sex coming up on 3 rounds. We are back on Fight News Now. That logo means John Pollock, get the hell out of here. John Rambine and Robin Black in. And guys, this Saturday, the unofficial UFC versus Strikeforce card.
Absolutely. The UFC returns to network television for UFC on Fox 7. It goes down in San Jose, California, the HP Pavilion, headlined by Gilbert Melendez taking on Benson Henderson for the lightweight championship of the world. And Robin, what a spectacular matchup. Gil Melendez, dominating Strikeforce for years, comes into this fight with a record, a stellar record of 21-2, avenging his only 2 losses to Ishida and Josh Thompson. The unfortunate thing is he's facing an absolute killer in the division, a guy that many people believe will hold the lightweight title for a long, long time.
Yeah, maybe he will. I mean, there's a million reasons to love Ben Henderson. One is the guy's an Iron Man. If this fight goes the distance, and I suspect it will, he will get into his 100th minute of fighting in the last 15 months. Let's look at the average fighter fights not quite 2.5 times a year. The average fight is about 9 minutes. So that means the average fighter fights about 22, 23 minutes a year. This guy's fighting 100. Look at that for one thing. He's so spectacular. He's got so many skills. He's explosive. But I can't believe that everybody is writing off Gilbert Melendez. I think that's crazy. This guy is mentally unbreakable. He's never been finished, and he comes forward like an animal.
I love it. And Gilbert Melendez believes that he has to kill Ben Henderson to get the title, and I like that he has that on his mind right now because he knows the type of threat that Ben Henderson possesses or opposes to him. And I think what's interesting about Gilbert Melendez is he's training with a good team, so he's going to be peaking at the same time as his teammate Nathan Diaz, who has faced Ben Henderson in the past. So he's going to be able to give him a little bit of insight on what the champion can bring to the table or brings to the table.
Yeah, Gilbert Melendez is very skilled. He's very aggressive. He's a great fighter, but it's his mentality that makes him such a great fighter. It's that, you know, when you're in there, you are fighting for your life, and he fights every fight that way, and that's going to be a challenge for Henderson. Every fighter comes like that, but nobody's going to come quite as hard as Gilbert Melendez is going to bring the heat here. What's interesting is they both move forward. Melendez is an offense first, offense second, offense third kind of fighter. Henderson moves forward and is very offensive, but you'll notice he doesn't get hurt a lot in fights, and that can be the difference here.
We talked about mixed martial arts and how it's 90% mental. Well, both guys,
100% of the time.
100% of the time, but both fighters very mentally focused for this fight. So it's going to come down to a stylistic matchup, and it just comes down to the fact that Ben Henderson has more tools in the toolbox. He's more athletically gifted. He's faster. He's rangier. He has so many options where Gil Melendez, you look at his style, kind of one-dimensional. You mentioned that he moves forward. He tries to back you up against that cage, tries to set some traps before he uses that left hand to set his double leg, and then from there try to go to work with some ground and pound. Not going to happen against Ben Henderson. Ben Henderson, too slick.
All of what you were saying is true, but there are times that certain special men can find it in themselves to make their thing work, even when they are on paper overmatched. And this could be one of those times. We will not be surprised if Gilbert Melendez finds a way. But yes, Henderson is a monster, and he has got to be the favorite.
Nathan Diaz, the teammate of Gil Melendez, going to be taking on former Strikeforce lightweight champion Josh Thompson, and what is going to be an absolute barn burner. Both guys from California, both from San Jose, will absolutely bring it. It's not the first time these guys have faced each other. They were at a Gracie Open match like 6 years ago, grappling only, but they were both very, very competitive. It'd be interesting to see how much they've evolved, and of course there were no strikes in that matchup, but of course Nathan Diaz challenged for the lightweight championship. Josh Thompson, super athletic, super explosive, and I think he could surprise Nathan Diaz.
Hey, man, this is exactly the same fight as Melendez versus Henderson. Different fighters, even different skill sets, but the same in that you've got two desperate, hungry animals that want to win it. Skilled in all areas, slight differences in their skills, but it's that desperation and hunger is going to make this fight so brutally exciting.
It's a fantastic fight card, and the question that has to be asked is, who will gain the most with a victory? And of course, the easy answer is Gilbert Melendez will become the lightweight championship with a victory. Outside of that, there's so many question marks. Josh Thompson, he can beat Nathan Diaz, who did challenge for the lightweight championship.
Make a huge statement.
That's right, make a huge statement. Daniel Cormier coming into this fight with so much hype, could get a victory over Frank Mir and possibly get the next shot at, who knows, the heavyweight championship? No, probably not, because Cain Velasquez. But Frank Mir could surprise everybody.
Frank Mir, man, if Frank Mir goes in there, everybody's talking about, oh, Frank Mir's going to lose this, and you've got this young, hungry lion coming up here. Frank Mir can stand in the middle of that cage and knock out or submit Cormier and say to everybody, you guys are nuts, I'm still important. And Darren Elkins, man, this guy wants to make a huge statement as well. 4 wins in a row, really looking fantastic, but what bothers me sometimes is this guy could win and be boring and not have much to say, and we keep forgetting about him. And that's a travesty, because young guys like this are just so exciting to watch. Jordan Mean as well.
And Darren Elkins set to take on Chad Mendes. Mendes, one of the best 145-pound fighters. Quickly, we're going to get to fight of the night. What is your pick? My pick, you mentioned Jordan Mean. I believe that he's going to stop Matt Brown, which is, you know, a lot of people are going to think I'm nuts, but he's just
Hey, man,
so
Jordan Mean's father told me straight up the goal is to stop Matt Brown. He's never been stopped, but fight of the night, 100% Melendez versus Henderson. This is just a great fight.
Pollock, your pick for fight of the night.
Nate Diaz, Josh Thompson, which I said earlier this year would not only get booked, but would be fight of the year. So my credibility's on the line come Saturday night, and there's very little of it to begin with. All right, guys, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we've got more on the other side, including a brand new edition of The Shift and this week's viral video, which features a dream fight between Cyril Diabate and Jeff Curran. Welcome back to Fight News Now. John Pollock with you. We've been chatting at length about the UFC on Fox 7 card coming up this weekend, but also a big show courtesy of Glory is up Saturday, 3:30 Eastern right here on Fight Network from Milan, Italy. It's going to feature a main event with arguably the top kickboxer in the world in Giorgio Petrosian, as he will meet Hafid El Bustadi. We travel now over from Italy to Metropolis, and the only way we're going to do that is through The Shift. In today's installment, we take a look at the upcoming Warner Brothers interactive release Injustice: Gods Among Us, featuring some of the most popular DC Comics characters. The premise of this game sees Superman out for revenge on the Joker after a plot is executed where Superman is tricked into killing Lois Lane. Multiple universes collide in this game, and we've got you covered on how it all intersects.
I trusted you. I'm here to help you. You betrayed me! I answer to no.
DC Comics has released a series that is your gateway for the warfare you can expect in WB's Injustice: Gods Among Us. The prequel explores the downfall of Earth's heroes and the events that lead up to a major rift, which is all thanks to the Joker.
Justice League fails. Cloud kills millions.
Superman versus Batman, Flash versus Wonder Woman, Green Lantern versus the Joker. Yup, it can all happen as the story unfolds with one-on-one matchups in Injustice: Gods Among Us. Let's bring in some experts to see how these heroes match up.
Okay, first of all, Bane is on juice. Lots of juice. Testosterone, boldenone, oxalandrone, provolone. He's on everything.
All those reasons are exactly why he's going to win.
Have you ever taken a batarang to the face? Batman's gonna have way better footwork. He's more mobile, head movement. He's gonna throw multiple combinations, land big shots, get out, dip out underneath Bane. And I mean, as long as he can keep his feet moving and stay away from the power hand of Bane, I think he's gonna do just fine.
Must I remind you of my superiority? I think you underestimate me.
I think you're going to agree with me here. Joker takes this one, right?
Come on, man. You got lunacy versus genius.
There's no game planning for somebody who can get into your head. I think the Joker is a master manipulator of that.
Wakey, wakey! You can whoop all kinds of ass using light, medium, and heavy attacks. Plus, each character has their own signature moveset.
Heads up.
Wow, Wonder Woman's awesome. Just ask Rashad Evans.
Wonder Woman used to help me out, go through puberty when I was a kid. Man, I used to love that. She had those nice eyes and everything. Man, I had a thing for Wonder Woman.
The fight game features interactive environments with multiple tiers. Use objects around you to get an advantage, and if that's not enough, you can smash through walls and beat the crap out of your opponent in space. Maybe GSP should take some notes on this Superman punch.
Kneel before me. You will know the meaning of fear.
2 words for you. Heat vision.
2 words for you, power ring. Like, anything he can will with the power of fear. He can, come on, if I wanted a latte right now, I'd make a latte.
Superman can stay at a distance like 600 kilometers away. Get in, land like 500 shots in 10 seconds, and get out before Sinestro can do anything.
What is Superman going to do when Sinestro creates a force field around him?
He's fucking Superman.
Injustice: Gods Among Us is loaded with all sorts of playable characters and cameos from the DC Universe. Plus, you'll get to unlock skins from the New 52, Flashpoint, and Arkham City.
Well, that was extremely epic. I feel like I'm shortfalling everyone by coming back now. That game is out on all major platforms, so be sure to check that one out. What we want to do now is check out easily the strangest viral video we've had in quite some time, and I know that covers quite a lot of ground. PETA members out there, be forewarned. I was going to make an inappropriate joke, but I will not. We cannot follow that, and that is why we are all out of time for another edition of Fight News Now. A big thank you to all of our guests today, including Anthony Pettis, Rory McDonald, Ryan Hall, David Loiseau, and so many more that made this show happen. Don't miss 5 Rounds with John Ramdine and Robin Black. It goes down every Monday night here, 7 Eastern on Fight Network. And if you're not sick of me, the MMA Report is up every Thursday on FightNetwork.com as well as iTunes. It's a big weekend ahead with the UFC on Fox card as well as Glory 7, 3:30 Eastern on Saturday right here. And then next week we'll do it all again. Thanks to our Fight Network crew and enjoy all of the fights coming up this weekend.